Hello, and welcome to season 3 of The Desk of a Navy Wife, where you may or may not hear my kiddos in the background. My name is Raina Worthy, and on this podcast, we like to talk about challenges, triumphs, and experiences with being a military spouse. So kick back, relax, make a cup of coffee, or get that evening dinner ready, and watch or listen to me in the background. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a licensed mental health therapist, and the majority of my guests are not licensed professionals. If a guest is licensed, it will be clearly indicated and noted in the episode description. The content shared on this channel and in each episode is for educational and connection purposes only. It is not intended to diagnose, treat, or replace professional mental health services. Please consult a qualified professional for any personal mental health concerns. Neither I nor my guests are to be held responsible for any decisions made based on this content. Now, let's unpack. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited that I am joined today by a very great friend. I have known him since high school. His name is Alan Cannon. I'm going to go ahead, turn the microphone over to him, let him introduce himself, and include how long he's served as well. Alan, welcome.
Good morning, Raina. Thanks for having me on. Hello, everybody. I'm Staff Sergeant Alan Cannon. I'm in the Army Reserves at the moment. I've had times in active duty. I have a spouse. My wife, she is currently active duty. She was previously reserved. So we have 4 kids, and I am at the moment a 16-year vet. So hopefully planning to retire soon.
Yes. Thank you again for being a part of this community. So thank you just in general for what you do, because you're balanced in life and you're balanced in this military community as well. So thank you to both you and your spouse for that.
And
So
thank you for your support. We appreciate it.
absolutely, I know about this lifestyle for 11 years. So
Yeah.
you got years on me, but I know about this lifestyle a little bit. So we are
Right.
in different branches. Of course, I'm the spouse from the Navy, and you are actually Army. And so you and your spouse know that world, and balancing that as dual military can be challenging. So today's focus is on mental health for all of our viewers there. And I love to gain the perspective of both those that serve, veterans, and reserve. So my first question for you, Alan, can you share a bit about your military journey, what led you to serve, and where that journey has taken you thus far?
Fortunately for me, um, I had family members in the military before I joined,
Okay.
and I was one of those kids that just knew I was going to the NBA, knew I was smarter than everybody. When things didn't work out for me coming out of high school, I joined the military thinking, hey, what's the worst that could happen? And as I said, fortunately for me, it ended up being the best decision I've ever made. I have everything outside of giving thanks to the Lord. I have everything that I have, and I give thanks to the military because I met my wife in the military. I mean, I created my 4 kids. We got a house, and the benefits worth it when you do the research, when you
Yeah.
put in the work, and then when you know what I'm saying, you look for it. 'Cause unfortunately for other military members, you don't have people ready to hand you different opportunities, don't have people ready to hand you resources. And if you don't look for it, you can be stuck and you can have those grave mental health journeys, as I
Yeah.
know other soldiers have. So,
Yes. And I'm so glad that you spoke on the fact that research is key here. Like, unfortunately, when you join the service or your family is put in or brought into this type of world, you're not always given a pamphlet. You're not always given this, hey, here's XYZ. You may get the basics and that's it. Everything else you kind of need to just figure it out, find out, or talk to other service members that are not gatekeepers and will give you the information you need to be able to benefit, and also, if you need mental health assistance, able to get that as well. So, my next question for you, how has your experience in the military, whether it was the active duty time that you served or being reserved now, shaped your perspective on mental health?
it's it's a crazy topic because I myself dealt with my own mental health issues within the military and outside the military.
Mm.
As a reservist, a lot of active duty, they think, oh, you reserve, you ain't really got much that you got to deal with, much going on. But As a reservist, you got to deal with military stuff that's going on in your civilian life, and it's a lot more uh unbalanced, if I could say that,
Yeah.
as a reservist, because you don't have that consistency of attempting to balance your everyday life with
Yeah.
military, you know. As an active duty member, you get up, go to work, army all day, and then you back at home and you know what I'm saying, doing your family life, you know.
Yeah.
As a reserve, family, 28 days of the month, and then you army 3 of those days, you know.
Yeah.
And then now all that stuff you've been dealing with those 28 days coming with you on top of those 3 days, you know. And then you dealing with the fast pace and the hurry up and wait and hurry up and do this
Oh,
and
for sure.
I need this and I need that for those 3 days, you know. So it's crazy because like I said, yeah, I've dealt with my own mental health. And then I've also had soldiers. I just actually lost two battle buddies due to mental health. It's a real thing. That's the
Yeah.
best I can say. It's a real
Yeah.
thing,
It is real.
and it helped me understand that mental health is a real thing and that it's a necessary thing to get the help that you need. You can't be tough all the time, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
At some point you you got to talk to somebody, you
Right.
know. So
You're
and it
talking to
also helped
somebody
me
who needs
understand
it.
that you're not the only one dealing with stuff, you know.
Right. So, if you don't mind sharing, what mental health challenges have you personally faced or seen others face during service?
So, joining, I didn't know I was dealing with mental health stuff when I
Yeah.
first got in the military until I got older and I looked back and was like, no, you was actually going through something. And that was me needing the structure of the military in my life
Mm-hmm.
because I was living in chaos. I didn't realize that I was angry all the time, that I was, um verbally abusive to people, you know, that I would lash out. And then as I joined the military and I was able to have that structure of, hey, this is what we doing right now. This is what you need to focus on,
Yeah.
get this done and then keep it moving. It helped me order, you know what I'm saying, stuff that's going on in my life and it helped me be a lot calmer within the chaos, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I was dealing with me being by myself when I
Mm-hmm.
first joined the military, my family moving back to New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
me losing my grandmother, me just trying to become an adult,
Right.
not knowing what I wanted to do, how I was going to make it work. And then I was able to meet my wife. And then over time, stress of leadership and the stress of more and more responsibility, and then the stress of dealing with other soldiers' situations and
Yeah.
trying to keep them separate from your own, but also make sure that these soldiers know that you are priority, that somebody do care. That was in itself stressful and it put a lot of weight on my mental as well.
Yeah.
Cause it's like, okay, now I'm grown, now I'm stable, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm handling it. And
Yeah.
now I'm trying to handle everybody else's stuff too. And it's like,
Yeah.
maybe I'm not handling as well as I thought, you
Right.
know?
And I think
So
some people get in the habit of you.
compartmentalizing or
Thank
something like
you.
that.
That's what I was like. I'm trying to say it correctly, but let me not embarrass myself. But
I don't know
yeah,
if I said it right.
yeah, right. Something minimalizes. We're saying
Yes.
something, okay? And I think again with the leadership, I know like my spouse right now is going through leadership and him being a leader, and then we've had conversations where he's like, "Hey, I'm worried about this service member. I'm worried about this service member," and we've lost, unfortunately, even friends and neighbors to they had mental health challenges and they ultimately took their life, and those are challenges. And it's almost like you sit with it, right? You're like, oh, could I have done something? Were there warning signs? And we have to get out of that habit as well, that we cannot fix everything. There may not have been signs, right? You don't walk around with a billboard in those type of instances. So for you, when you witness anything with your service members, right? Your battle buddies, what is something that you make sure you kind of keep an eye on when you're having these conversations with them?
Mannerisms and like
Okay.
the way they carry themselves throughout the day. There's certain soldiers that you just don't know.
Yeah.
You got to talk to them. You got to get with them and talk to them one on one. Like, yo, how you doing? Like,
Yeah.
is everything going all right? Because there's been soldiers that I'll be watching just to make sure they good, and then
Mhm.
there'll be other soldiers that you'd be watching and you wouldn't think nothing was
No.
wrong at all. So it's not really no obvious signs on with everybody. There
Right.
might be some obvious signs with some people,
Mm.
yeah, but there's other people that you wouldn't know that they going through Chapter 99 bankruptcy, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
You don't know that these people got family members doing this and doing that, you know.
Yeah.
So I I'm more of a talker, you know. So I'll walk into the unit and I talk to all 200 people.
Yeah.
Good morning, you know. Hey, how you doing? Good,
Yeah.
you know. So that's the way that I do my best of trying to make sure I monitor and you know what I'm saying, keeping watch over my people because,
Yeah.
like I said, yeah, I talk.
To check in, definitely. So
Yeah.
still that type of communication where you're making sure you're checking in with
Hmm.
the person and hoping that, hey, at least me checking in shows that I care. Someone cares, someone is here that's checking in on you and does truly want to know, versus not caring, feeling like they don't care
Hmm.
or whatever, moving about. All right, so I'm gonna talk now kind of more on your transition to the reserve because I do know you served active duty. Was that for 2, 3 years? How long were you active duty for?
I was active duty 3.5 years.
3.5 years. Okay, so how did your transition out of active duty into reserve life impact your emotional and mental wellness? Just that transition period itself.
It was different only based because of the schedules, you know.
Yeah.
As a active duty, you like I said, you on a set schedule, you doing this, you doing that. These are your jobs every day. And then sometimes you doing everybody else's job. And then when you go back to reserve, you don't got to see these people for 30 days. So
Bye. Yeah.
right. So it took me to try to help. I tried to figure out a way to keep myself busy because I don't right now I'm not working. I'm waiting to figure certain stuff out so that
Yeah.
I can go for these other jobs. I'm in Army space now
Oh wow.
and completely different than what I'm normally doing. And I'm still learning everything. And my goal at the moment is to go from doing the stuff that we've been doing in Army space, coming back home and try to do it in civilian realm, you know.
Yeah.
So right now I'm waiting on stuff like that, but it's like I said, just trying to keep busy, trying to fix my own mental, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Rather
Mhm.
than having all these extra people to worry about. All I
Right.
got is me and my kids at the moment because my
Right.
wife is going right now. But it's stressful because I'm so used to being in the chaos. And right
Yeah.
now it's just like everything's so calm. It's like, what do
Yeah.
I do with my hands? You know?
Mhm. You're not
So
used to that calm. So you're like, "Oh, I gotta do something." Yes, yes. I understand that. So with your spouse, because you did say that she is currently gone, so I do know that she again was reserved, then active duty reserve, and is currently seeking or is active duty again, correct?
yes.
So how do you navigate the mental demands of dual military service within your relationship?
So we've been pretty lucky because we've had situations where we both didn't really have to go too far,
Okay.
you know, so we was able to still be around each other relatively. The biggest hurdle for us is the kids, really, and the
Yeah.
kids wondering where mom or where dad is. We've been both doing this for some time now, so we have a good understanding of, hey, I'm going, I gotta do what I gotta do. I'll
Yeah.
be back. And it's like, all right, I'll hold it down till you get back. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Or we got a good partnership to where we can work together and figure out avenues on how to navigate, you know what I'm saying, each other's situation because they got
Yeah.
stuff that I be doing that I don't know about that she can help me with and
Mhm.
stuff that she be doing that I can help her out with, you know, too. You know, so we work well together and we work well off each other together
Yeah,
too.
that's good. So it's together and even working off each other, balancing each other out, even though
Mhm.
in this unbalanced lifestyle, you can say at times
Mhm.
with kind of bouncing around and everything. So it's good that you all check in and you feed off of each other and help where it's needed. Where were there moments when you felt the military culture altogether, right? This military lifestyle made it harder to speak up or seek help for mental health?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So especially in the beginning. So
Mhm.
as I said, I've been in going, it's been 16 years. When you first get in, around that time, it was still more of a, I'm a man. We ain't talking about all of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't, oh, you sad, go do some push-ups, you
Okay.
know? And like, and, after I was able to gain that structure and I was able to start realizing the situations that I'm in and where I am mentally it was tough because when you're in the military, you have friends that aren't in the military.
Yeah.
They don't really understand, and at the same time, they still going off of that, man, I don't need to talk to nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You all right, bro. Stop with all that whining, man. Just
Yeah.
go get a drink, you know? So there's definitely been times for that and like uh the finding out that you with a group and half or more than half of that group don't really have the same views as you,
Yeah.
you know? That's a big mental health thing as well, because it's
Mhm.
like you think you're a part of something and then certain political or economical things change and then now it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
you're not really part of that group, you
Yeah.
know?
Who are
And
you
it's
at that
like,
point? Yeah.
right, right, and who do I talk to? Because
Yeah.
it's like, I thought I had the people to talk to. So, that those times are difficult as well, but the longer you be in, the more you try to understand where you at and who you around and how, you know what I mean? Even though y'all got different views and different beliefs with everything, the one thing you can always fall back on is, "Hey, you a soldier, I'm a soldier, let's go do what we gotta do."
Yeah.
It don't always got to be a personal conversation or nothing like that. But when you're in a leadership position, you gotta sometimes you just gotta eat it and keep it. You know what I'm saying? Still, hey, you don't like the fact that you'll that. I'm sorry that I don't support that group, but
Yeah.
I'm sorry that your person passed. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I'll be here for you no matter what. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it get a lot more difficult to navigate when you become a leader. Like
Absolutely. So, with that and that sense of community, right? Because the military lifestyle in general is a whole entire culture. Okay. And a lot of people don't understand that. It's a culture and there's a million cultures within this culture. Okay. So, it's a smaller world in a sense. So, what role has your community, whether it was spouse support that you have while your spouse is gone, vice versa, or fellow service members that work alongside you? How have they played a role in your mental health journey?
throughout my military career, I've had run-ins with soldiers that basically they've helped me the most by them going through the things that they go
Mhm.
and me being able to be a shoulder for them to lean on or for me to be somebody that they can look to for support or just to talk. So that's the way they help me the most because they like a lot of people go through so much stuff and it helped me realize that hey, after I got conscious of my own life and my own mental health, watching other people and learning of other people's situations helped me ease my own depression and stresses with,
Mhm.
all right, just take a breath and chill. You know what I mean? Because you could be going through it so much worse and you're
Yeah.
not. And to have soldiers that had run-ins with tempted soldiers that have committed,
Mm.
it's like oh my god, like what? Relax,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
to myself, like relax,
Yeah.
you good,
Yeah.
So that's the best way I can say that my community helped me, even though that that's not the intention. Hey, that's we all learn in different ways.
Right. It's different, definitely different experiences and perspectives, it sounds like, for the most part, and kind of that reflection piece where it's like, okay. And I will say, I think it's great that you had those check ins with yourself because self awareness in itself is key. And a lot of people don't have that self awareness. So, being that you tapped in the beginning, because you said 16 years now, you tapped in and said, hey, I've realized I had some mental health struggles. I needed to be looked at or seen or seek resources, and you went out and you did it. And I don't think everybody can say that they're comfortable doing the same. So if you're listening, you're viewing this right now, if you have like a tingling, right? Something that's the spider sense is going off and saying, something ain't right. Then why is this bothering me so much? Try to get to the root of that and go seek those mental health resources. And I'll be sure to drop those in the description notes as well. All right, Alan, I have another question for you. What tools or resources do you know of, whether it's therapy, peer support, faith, or fitness, that have helped you the most when dealing with stress or burnout?
It helped me the most. So at times I have so I still lean on basketball as much
Yeah.
as I can. Growing up, that's been a sport for me to help me with all types of stressors. I play basketball to mourn, play basketball to celebrate, play basketball because I'm bored, play
Yeah.
basketball to get in shape. You know what I mean? So that definitely helped me. Outside of peer support, my spousal support, my support from my family. Eventually, my friends came around to where now they open to talk.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
all realize that we all deal with stuff, so we able to have conversations and just vent and get stuff off. I know there's something called Military One Source.
Okay. Yep.
I reached out to them to get a counselor at one point, but I actually have a battle buddy. He's going through the process of getting a psychologist or psychiatrist, whichever one of them doctors,
Yeah.
to help him out with his situation too through Military One Source as well.
Yeah.
And my leadership, I've had leadership that helped me through a lot of situations, helped me figure out things to do. I remember I was going, but no, I had a situation where I was getting ready to have my son. My wife
Yeah.
had just, well, my wife, my girlfriend at the time had just told me, we about to have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, oh, okay, word, it's cool. I was on a mission and we was doing this big old mission where we could barely be on the phone or anything like that. And when I told my first sergeant, he was like, okay, well, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Is it yours? All this jazz. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like going through it in my mind. I don't know what's going on, man.
Yeah.
I know this is my girl, but that's a valid question. What do you mean is it mine? Now my whole mind is
Yeah.
racing. And then on the other side of that, he ended up helping me find a job. At the time, the best job I've ever had. He helped me find other resources to make sure my family was gonna be set.
Mm-hmm.
And just him being there helped alleviate a lot of stress and, what I'm saying, doubts and stuff like that in my mind. From having somebody older, somebody that was there who already had kids, somebody
Yeah.
that already been through that situation. Yeah, my leadership. And then, yeah, like I said, outside of that, just family, friends, sports, Military One Source, leadership. And I'd like to say religion because I've had my run-ins where I just sit in the car and I talk to God all day, like
Mm-hmm.
just venting because I ain't had nobody else to talk to,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, you know what? I know somebody who always willing to listen.
Yeah. Right.
So that was a big thing in my life from a point too.
And that's good. It seems like you tapped into multiple resources and different ways of, okay, I can't do this alone. Whether it's me talking to the Lord or whether it's me playing basketball or talking to friends, talking to family, you leaned on someone. You didn't just try to handle it by yourself. So I think that's great in that.
At times I did. At times
You
I
did. At
did. It
times
did
you
not
did.
work. It
Oh,
was not
making me
working.
take my words back. No. Well, at least you're honest. There are times you
Yeah.
did, but through other times it seems like you didn't, which is great, which is really, really, really good and key. So, what advice would you give to other service members or even military spouses, whether it's Army, Navy, Marine, right? Other service members and spouses who are struggling silently right now.
What you going through is normal and you're not by yourself. You have support and you have people that's there for you, that care for you and they love you. And sometimes they just don't know how to offer the help.
Yeah.
Don't shun people away that's willing to help you. Don't be combative, you know what I'm saying? Be open to conversation, be open to different perspectives because just looking at through another lens might help you get out of your funk. And I know a lot of times people we get in these situations where don't nobody know what I'm going through. You can't help me because you don't know. You don't know what I know.
Right.
You don't know that I've been through everything you're going through already, and I'm just trying to help.
Yeah.
And try not to be so angry. You know what I mean? Take a deep breath because sometimes that deep breath is that extra second you needed for it to click.
Yeah.
So
Thank
that's yeah. It's the best thing you can say,
to be your
man.
advice. Thank you. And then my final question for you, if you could shift one aspect of how the military addresses mental health, whether in training, leadership, or support, what would it be and why?
I would change the way that they offer the support and the way that they structure the support. Be in the military, you could be in the military 40 years. And if you don't have your documents in the right order, soon as you get out, they won't know you from Jack or Jill.
Right.
Just because you don't have all this certain documents, you could have all the paperwork say you was in for 40 years. But
Mhm.
if you don't got something that say you had a mental issue or that you had a bone bruise or you had the cold or something like that, they won't help you. They won't be as amenable to help you as they would have been while you was in the military. Because the
Yeah.
military, all both they checking me every day. But yeah, I would change that. I would change the way that they help in the support because I don't have an idea of what they could actually do because that's not something that I've actually really thought about in
Yeah.
depth. But I do know that there's soldiers that have situations where they need the help tremendously and they
Yeah.
can't get it because the way that they structure how you get the support, they didn't meet those criteria or they didn't have certain documents that would have proven it, you know?
Mhm.
So,
I think that's great. A great suggestion and advice. I was once the part of the transition assistance program. So, service members that were getting out of the military and they had to go to these workshops. Now, typically it was more focused on career and everything. I learned, even though it was more on career and not necessarily on your health aspect of it, so many people, their history was wrong. Their documents were wrong. Hey, I didn't do that. That wasn't my job. That wasn't my code. And it's before you transition, if that's something you're deciding to do or think about, make sure everything is correct. Your record is correct. Even your mental health record or your health record in general. I always tell spouses and service members, you are your own archive. You need to be your own archive. Make copies of everything as soon as you have it and store it in a safe because you're going to need it down the line when you transition for sure. So,
yeah.
thank you for speaking on that. But that's all the questions I have for you today, Alan. Again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you again for what you do for your community, for the world, for the United States as a reserve and previous active duty, so a veteran, and then also what your spouse does. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your support and I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you again for tuning in this week. I look forward to bringing you resources, support, and laughter. Sending my love from the desk of a Navy wife.